When my friends and I first met him in Uganda, in Central Africa, it was in very different circumstances. He was running for his life.
You go to school here?
Yes.
Yes, that's how you know English so well.
I know.
Yeah. How many nights have you stayed here?
The expires on December 31st, 2012. And its only purpose is to stop the rebel group, the LRA, and their leader, Joseph Kony.
Beneath the scenic shorelines of Lake Albert, under the water and the lagoons, there are riches. Enough oil to dramatically change the fortune of Uganda. In full production, around 150,000 barrels of oil a day will be pumped out of this area. For now, the oil companies are still in exploration, drilling up to 4 kilometers into the earth.
The past decade has seen unparalleled Chinese investment in countries across Africa, from Guinea to Sudan. As China becomes increasingly influential on the African continent, many U.S. politicians and citizens are concerned about China's growing influence, but there's no denying that China is the primary economic force for several African nations. In 2007, journalist David Blair noted that China's African investments topped £30 billion over 2006. Instead, they believe China is preparing for a future resource war. As the US and China scramble for access to a dwindling pool of oil, clean water, and metals, every commodity counts.
Well, it goes way beyond Libya, in fact. I'm working on a story at the moment, pitting the Pentagon against China. This is the big story in Africa for the next 50 years, I would say. Starts in the beginning of the 2000s with the creation of the African Union. Gaddafi was very important in this mechanism. It was a mechanism to give a political voice to Africa, and in terms of better unified Africa, in terms of political decisions and of course economic integration. Then China started investing much more than it was investing during the 1990s all over Africa, in at least 30 countries. They have more than 900 projects all over Africa. They are the #1 oil importer from Angola, for instance. They import materials, platinum materials and metals from at least a dozen different African countries. And then came the reaction from the Pentagon. 2007, 2008, with the African Command, which has just launched its first African war when they launched the Tomahawks 3 weeks ago against Tripoli, basically. So now, this is the chessboard. It's the Pentagon via African against Chinese investments. And in the middle are, I would say, at least 50 African governments, and they are scrambling to see, okay, what we're going to do now.